Hello, hey everyone. Can you hear me? Is it working? Yes. Okay, sweet. Awesome. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I mean, thanks everyone for joining for this town hall today. Uh, Excited just to like share more about what the latest is and what we're doing, and also just get a chance to talk about all the developments over the last few weeks. There's been like a lot, and yeah, looking forward to talking about it. So, I mean, I think one thing I want to say is like you'll get the sense of this through what we're doing, but we're trying to do something a little bit different here than a lot of other projects. Um, so, it's not just like an update basically. We're if you have questions, it's very encouraged to participate, ask anything. If you have ideas, that's encouraged as well. We're trying to build something that um, is more participatory and involved than just like we're building a project and then we ship it, all of that. But that only works if you participate. So please ask any questions. Have any ideas? Please share them, and together we can build something cool from that. Um, just like a brief summary of what we're doing. Hopefully this all makes sense, but you'll see maybe a little slightly recontextualized in some ways. I think like the core problem that we are very interested in solving is that cryptocurrency, I don't know if anymore in like kind of the mainstream, but at least originally, I think had this idea that it would be more widely participatory and decentralized. And that's something that I think was exciting and is exciting, but it hasn't really exactly been how the technology has turned out, at least as far as a lot of what's been developed. Like for me, I always go back to like first learning about Bitcoin, like very early proof of work experiments, and this idea that we would all connect to these networks and help secure them and run them together. And then, that not exactly being really what happened at the end of the day, but still being something that I think would, do a lot if it was possible and if it happened. Um, there's a lot of reasons for that. For one, it's just hard to run decentralized infrastructure. And then I think additionally, if you look at how these networks are structured, like it makes a lot of sense to be a passive token holder, like a lot of sense, but then, it doesn't really make sense to necessarily participate beyond that. And you end up with a lot of, users potentially of projects, but most of them are kind of like just passive investors, which makes a lot of sense. Like I think we all do that. I do that. But it's not exactly the full potential of what the technology is. So like I was saying, it would be cool if these networks did have a lot more active users, utility, things happening on them. But if we look at like this dynamic, it's like at a mechanism level, it's at an incentive level, I think, for why this happens. And we need to rethink that if we're going to have networks that are different than the existing ones. So it's kind of like what I've been saying. Like if you're a passive holder, you don't necessarily incentivize to participate. If people are using the protocol, great, that's what you want, but it's not necessarily what you're incentivized to do. And similarly, if you are a user of the protocol, you're adding a lot of value for all of those token holders, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are seeing all that value. A lot of that value is going to the other people on the other side of that. So, you have like this, kind of issue in how these are structured that doesn't create like both a lot of use and everything the way you would want it to. So we want to do something different here. We want it to be that when you participate, you get ownership, not just passively holding tokens. I mean, that's cool too, but we want to make it so that if you go beyond that and you actually participate and you help make this network more real and happen, you will get more ownership from that to kind of align those incentives and create that opportunity. So I think you all know this at this point, at least the folks that are inside the community. We're doing this two ways. One is you can produce blocks from your phone. So all of the users on the network, all of us are helping run it from our own devices, and we get rewards from that. But additionally, that's all connected and hooked up to how much you are participating as well. We haven't turned this part on yet. You've probably just seen, you participate, you get more points. Great. But at the end of the day on mainnet, it's going to be participate, get more blocks, get more tokens. And so that whole funnel will be lined up end to end. And we'll be able to better connect these different incentives to participate and get involved in networks. Specifically, what this means is if you produce blocks, you're helping run the network, great. If you're using dApps, you're contributing activity. That's great. We have to do some work to make sure that's actually real activity, but generally, if you use apps or dApps, you're adding value to the network, so you're contributing activity. It's good. And also, if you're building dApps, this is kind of like going above and beyond a little bit. You're also expanding the network, expanding the use cases, all of that. That's also great. And what we're saying is that if you do all these things and others, you'll get more blocks and you'll get more rewards. So again, trying to align all those incentives, but basically making it that if you're more involved in this, you will, get more ownership from doing that. So that's from the individual perspective, but you can also think about it from the network perspective. From the network perspective, this means that there's more incentive for many more people to get involved. Hopefully that means many more devices are involved in the network. And it also means that the network will be more decentralized and resilient than it would otherwise. Yes, exactly, Namaya. So the idea is that some of the blocks will be set aside for proof of stake, basically for tokens, and the other half of the blocks will be set aside for participation in the core network and consensus. I'll mention that in a couple slides. Basically, it's part of why Sybil resistance is so important, to make sure that you can't just kind of flood the network to get those blocks. But also is core to how we're translating participation into actual engagement in running the network and incentives to do that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the idea is like you just download the app and then you can get involved that way, and it's engaging, and it's an on-ramp also to participate more in everything. So just to kind of give a sense of what this looks like over time. So you're all kind of used to today, like, you have the app, it produces blocks. You can give feedback, you can do some basic things on it, you can send transactions. So that's all the things we're putting together. Soon, hopefully quite soon, we'll be unlocking the dApps functionality. You've probably seen that page on the application and seen how it is there, but kind of says coming soon. That will be unlocked pretty soon. And then that'll be available. And then with that, there'll also be the opportunity to contribute more ideas to how the network works and to how, what dApps are available and all of that as well. And also test new features. And then after that, sorry, I'm just looking at my monitor over the screen, there'll be opportunity to actually build dApps and support the network that way. So basically we have this right now. There's going to be more things soon related to dApps and actually building dApps pretty soon as well. And there's a bigger vision for that I'll get to in a second. But first, I just want to talk about specifically how participation is becoming rewards on the network. You guys probably saw that we shared about the token program that we are doing on testnet. This is just to kind of reiterate that. On mainnet, this is very straightforward. More participation, more block assignments, more blocks, more tokens. So pretty simple. On testnet, it's based on this like founding members token program. And the way that works is the protocol's plan to have 10 billion tokens total. At the moment, we're planning on that being like a hard cap. So kind of in the way Bitcoin has a total number of tokens, it'll be easy to reason about. We think if we make this also just like a cap like that, sometimes with like tokens that can keep inflating, it's kind of hard to reason about exactly what's going to happen. So we're thinking towards a hard cap of 10 billion tokens. And then for this season in particular, up to 30 million tokens to be allocated, up to 500K tokens per person based on contributions. Important to mention that this is all contingent on us actually getting to mainnet, and subject to change at any time. There's lots of legal considerations around doing a program like this, so please understand in that. But this is like our intent for this season 1, and the intent is also for there to be more seasons, both after season 1 before mainnet, as well as probably after mainnet as well. I don't know if it'll be structured as a season program post mainnet, but there'll be something for allowing new people to get in and further growth. It's gonna be important. Yeah, will there be some locked mechanism for founding members token program? I think probably yes. We don't know exactly what it'll be. There'll be tokens you'll be able to stake, but there'll probably be some kind of locking on it, something to talk about. I think kind of like as a community, we'll have to decide it's probably in our best interest if we do align on some kind of collective locking. It's like good for what we're building. So we need to align on it, but there's something we should figure out there. And limited space, yes. So the first season is probably going to be capped to 500 people. So we're at like 100, 120 right now for like this beta. Once we get that working in like a stable way, we will expand that until we get to 500, at which point probably we'll be ready for season 2 at that point. Basically is the plan. Locked tokens, can they be staked? I think it's something we have to decide on. I think at the moment we're thinking you can stake locked tokens, but not something we've like fully settled on yet or anything. And note that if you're participating on the network, you will both be able to effectively kind of get blocks and stake just through identity. The locked tokens would be kind of on top of that for more blocks. But I think the plan is yes, those will be included for staking as well. So yeah, I hope this makes sense kind of around this. Like basically mainnet, be very straightforward around how this will work, at least the core mechanism. Testnet, we have these other kind of programs around it, starting with this season 1 program that will kind of last throughout season 1 and these first 2-3 months and 500 people. And thank you, for folks for helping boost and get the cap above 550. It's cool we have that many in the chat. It would be nice to be able to go over it too, but yeah. Briefly, okay, how this all works. So, this is like a very summarized version. I'd love to get out like our white paper relatively soon that explains this all in much more detail. But this first one already. The network is run by the users. Your phone's producing the blocks. Participation determines how many at the moment points you're getting. And there'll be some mapping at the end from points to rewards at the end of the season, and as well mapping to actual tokens on mainnet. We use zero-knowledge proofs very heavily throughout the whole design of the protocol. It's kind of, I would say, kind of conceptually 2 places. One place being to actually keep the chain very lightweight to work on mobile devices. And the other place is to allow very large numbers of transactions to be effectively put kind of batched together and included in blocks on mobile devices. So between those, we want to have kind of the combination of being able to have working on small devices like phones, as well as being able to do high performance. So these kind of both dimensions that usually you can't get seem, we can make a lot of progress towards getting with zero knowledge proofs. There'll always be some limitation due to mobile, but we think we can get 50 plus TPS kind of things with this architecture, which is fast for a lot of applications, more than a lot of blockchains are actually doing right now, and can have it all working on mobile devices and everything. So it's a cool design that lets us do this. And I was mentioning before as well, it's very important we have Sybil resistance for all of this. If we're giving half the blocks away to people by identity, that's great because you can download an app and get involved. But it also means we want to really make sure that someone can't have 10 phones and get 10 times as many blocks, or even worse, if they could spin up like a farm of devices and kind of flood that pool of blocks with their own devices. Like, I don't know if people saw, there was like recently I want to say it was like someone who had like a group that had 50,000 SIM cards they were using to like do this kind of thing on different creating accounts on probably X and Facebook and all that. And we want to avoid that basically. So there will be some kind of relatively strong Sybil resistance, probably with some kind of tiering for different levels of how strong you've been able to prove your identity. Yeah. Do founding members need to register for the next season testnet? No, I don't think so. For this season, if you're on the leaderboard, you're already registered for the season, so you're good to go. We'll kind of be letting more people into that over time. And then it's a good question, I guess, like whether like you'll kind of auto register into season 2 versus not, but like we'll figure that out later. It's probably like a month or 2 away at least. So we'll get there, but not sure. Yeah, it definitely is possible to run a node on server, desktop, or laptop as well. When we open up dApp development, you'll see that like basically dApps will probably get a node as like a sidecar that you'll run in Docker next to your dApp. But yeah, like we already have actually the same code base. Like it's just a Rust node that is compiling the different targets. So yeah, it's possible. And yeah. Cool. So a little more detail what's next. So I mean, you've noticed like we've been pretty hard work at getting the kind of base network working more stable in a more stable way. That's, I wouldn't say done, but we made a lot of progress on it over the last couple weeks, enough that we're moving on to more longer term work now, and probably going to be able to enable dApps pretty soon. But kind of over the next days, weeks, our goals are like improving the block production success rate. We've been adding a lot of logging and observability there that hopefully should help us figure out the remaining issues. Further improving transaction performance with better latency and throughput. We have like a much better understanding now of kind of what the limitations are in terms of what throughputs we can reach, as well as like we made a lot of optimizations that should make this work better. We'll be sharing more on that soon, but basically we have like a target throughput that we will be shooting for that should perform well and will mean that bursts will actually go through well and not crash things and be included in blocks and all that. So we'll be releasing that soon. We'll be launching dApps to test. Initially, we built internally like 3 dApps or so that just like for testing that will be available to test and like see how the framework actually works. And then beyond that, we'll be opening it up so people can build their own applications as well. And we also have like a very early version of the proof of identity framework setup that we want to start testing as well. At the moment, just using ZK Passport, which probably will be like the strongest level of Sybil resistant identity. But we'll be seeing how that works and maybe introducing kind of weaker forms as well that give access to some smaller number of blocks, but still let people get in the door with something. So after this, we'll have pretty good, strong baseline performance. of the core network, and that's like what we're kind of hoping to get to like a base level of pretty soon. Beyond that, I think one thing that's really interesting is when we started thinking about this project, it was like, we wanted to work on users owning applications and networks and that kind of thing. But there's the other half of it, which is like actually doing the work behind that to actually, build a DApp or fix a bug in the DApp or, actually iterating on those things. And AI tools have made, everyone's thinking about it, has made enough progress that like this can kind of be the other half we're thinking to how our dApps are set up, where we want to basically make it so that both you as an individual can very quickly, easily launch a dApp. That's already set up and working. It's already that, there's all the dApp starter stuff as well, relatively well hooked up, so you can easily kind of tell an agent to build a dApp and it'll just do it. We want on top of that, though, make it so that groups of people using a dApp can kind of collectively guide the direction of the dApp, which I don't think it's really been something that's been done before, but the idea is that you can have applications that are guided by groups of people that are using it instead of by some centralized core development team somewhere. And this is really, there'll still probably be some core development team for any of these dApps, but starting to like decentralize and distribute where the direction of how an application moves, what bugs are fixed, what features are added, what's prioritized, further out to the people using it, which I think is pretty interesting because I'm not sure that's really fully been done before, but I think it's something that we could try doing here, which hopefully is interesting. It's a very different direction for application development than otherwise possible. So we're excited about that as one thing. As something also that like probably can really only be done here because of the Sybil resistance. If an application really mattered, we'd expect without Sybil resistance, someone who wants to guide the direction of the dApp to kind of flood the governance process with whatever they want, which you can't do here because it's one person, one input into the dApp. So anyway, like future things around kind of collectively group guided dApp development that I think will be really interesting for kind of group owned applications. Yeah. And then thinking towards mainnet, eventually, we want to drive towards is this network that's owned by its users and run by its users, these user-owned general applications, and also this like general concept of like being very easy to build shared applications via agents, in a way that you can do directly elsewhere. Yeah. So that's what we're driving towards with this. Going back to where we actually are today, we have, I think by some measurement, 108 plus people that are participating, that are giving us feedback and running the app. So that's awesome already. But we suspect that like kind of over time, there'll be different levels of contributions that will kind of evolve. Like some people just going to run a node that's already great at supporting the network. Some people will use dApps and run a node. Some people will give feedback, run a node and use dApps, maybe even give feedback to collectively guide or give input to some of their dApps, how they want them to change, what features they want. Really good. And some people are going to like do all those things plus originate new dApps. And this will all have different kind of levels of contributions. And then those should be different opportunities for number of blocks you get, number of rewards you get from that. We have to kind of design that, I think, together as we go, but it's kind of in our best interest. Like even if let's say I'm someone who's just using a dApp and running a node, if I want there to be good dApps and stuff, we should like totally give more incentives to people that are building new dApps that are good. So we should kind of keep that in mind as we're designing this, that it's kind of, we're all aligned in like setting up these incentives so that kind of people show up and do the work that helps make the network really good. Yeah. One thing we were thinking about in this is like, I've kind of shared mechanism, architecture, direction of some of the things we're building. But part of the idea, what we're doing is we want to think about these things as a community. So we wanted to ask a question, which is, do you have any ideas for things that you would like to see higher participation unlock on the network? Like, and I guess we can think about on both halves, like, what do you want to see people do on the network that would add value? And then also, what do you want to see that participation actually like unlock for in terms of benefits for users? Some ideas, like I think there was like a brief chat on this in the community maybe a few weeks ago. Like people were throwing out maybe should modify vesting, maybe it should change how your votes are weighted in some governance. Maybe you should get more influence in some other kind of aspect of how the protocol works. But we're just kind of interested in general, like what ideas this brings to mind for you for like, I hope it's okay, I'm kind of adding this half to it, but like what activities like should result in you getting, more kind of participation points. And then also in the other half, like what other cool things should participation points unlock for you on the protocol. So this flash challenge is like something we're putting out today. Just submit ideas for benefits beyond block production. And if it's cool, I'll also add into this like ideas for activities you want to see people doing that should get them points that also seem good. So we want you to think of ideas. We want you to vote on people's ideas, give suggestions to improve other people's ideas. And we'll also give some points for helping do this as well. And the question here is, as a user, what activities do you think you would want to do or see other people doing that would make the network better? And then also on the other half of that, what are like good incentives for that like could be cool and interesting besides just getting more blocks and more tokens from those blocks? We made a channel for that on this Brainstorm Challenge forum channel. If it's not made public yet, it will be very shortly. You'll get 500 points for submitting an idea, 100 points for voting in an idea, 300 points for commenting or an improvement to an idea. And the top 3 voted ideas will get up to 1,000 points. Some of these like will be little what's the word, qualitative, like discretionary, like how many points. So like give a better idea to improve an idea and you'll get more points. Like adding anything is great, but like the more well thought out it is, the better. I've also found like I think we all know like the LLMs are pretty good now at helping analyze these sorts of things. So like, please don't dump just like a whole block of text. Like make it short and succinct. We should probably have something even in this forum to say like, don't do that. But if it helps you reason through things, that's like great. To think through the different edge cases of possible ideas and things. Yes, and that'll be going on for a few days until April 14th. Midnight. I think we're saying end of day April 14th is how I'm reading that, but we should double check that that's actually how the times work. We're announcing this participation first on this call. So I mean, a lot of you have actually showed up, which is great. And this also will be recorded for other people to join and see about this challenge as well. But I hope this gave you a good idea of what the challenge is about here. And that's it. Now we just have Q&A. I hope this was like kind of helpful in giving like a sense of like what we're trying to do, what's different here, what the opportunity is to like kind of be a like co-owner, community member, more involved person in what we were building. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions? And yeah, I'm seeing in the channel that even though we have 150 seats now, like there's some joining issues. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's because like we just changed it, or just got the boosts to do it. But this will be recorded, so you'll be able to see it there. Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen and answer any questions that anyone might have. Yeah, let's please come up to the stage if you want to ask anything. Ask in the chat or just come up to the stage. Willow, I'll add you to it.
Yeah, hi, hello, guy. Hello, Ivan.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Maybe one question not straight related to this, but either way, about the apps, like, are frameworks or SDK already ready to start playing with, or not yet?
You're asking, are they ZK ready?
I mean, for building apps.
Yeah. So, so there is a framework that is like ready. like we've been using it internally to build the current dApps that we are like going to have available soon for testing. I would say it's definitely in like kind of a alpha or beta state. And it's not using like on-chain like ZK smart contracts or anything yet, although it will at some point. But we have to decide exactly when to release it. We're thinking to release it after we're sure it's working well, which will be after this like initial round of testing. But basically, yeah, we have it working. We have some few basic dApps right now.
Okay. Is going to have like any bindings to any language or to any techno mobile, for example, I don't know, React Native, iOS, whatever?
Yeah, so it all will work within like this like kind of dApps tab in the app right now. So it'll work on iOS and Android. Technically, it'll kind of work on computer, but we don't have a web connection to like nodes yet on computer. We've been just prioritizing mobile for now, but iOS and Android. At the moment, you code the dApps in TypeScript, basically, JavaScript,
Okay.
TypeScript. But there will be some like ZK smart contracting side to that we haven't settled on exactly what we're going to do for it. That will not be in JavaScript, TypeScript. Probably it'll probably be either in Rust or it'll be a DSL or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. If it's cool, I will leave you from the stage. Do I have a way to do that? Do you mind leaving the stage actually? I'm just not sure where the button is, and then I'll bring someone else on for other questions. Thanks. Mr. Pans, I just invited you up as well. And while you're doing that, yes, still okay, yeah. Sharing more in the ZK side of things, are the proofs generated on the device while interacting with the dApp? I'll let Bruno or Zura maybe answer this in more detail, and they probably have more details than the other ones I was answering also, but it's at the moment, no, but we probably will have a zero knowledge proof generated on device when sending transactions. Yeah, and that'll kind of do like some basic initial both privacy things as well as kind of doing some pre-work on the transaction to make it easier to add later onto the network. This is actually quite fast now. I want to say our testing is showing that it'd be a second or two on mobile for proving. Uh, but basically the answer is yes, but the side we're not doing quite yet. We're just like working on other parts of it first. Um, yeah, let's see. That's a good question. I want to say that the way we have actually, I should let Bruno, Zura, or Daniel answer this one. If any of you are there to answer that. I know we have it working a lot faster, but they're the ones that know the details about how we've done that. Yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, I think we do have some solution, but I want I want them to give the right answer um, for what exactly is happening there. Um, oh, cool, Mr. Pantons, are you up on the stage now, or says no? I can reinvite you back up if you want. Otherwise, feel free to ask in the chat also. Any other? I see a lot of people typing. Jared's great. Any other questions? And thanks, Drea, for like pinging and yeah. Cool. I see people typing. I'll give a sec to ask any questions or say anything. Oh, yeah, Bruno, this was Namaz's question above on circuit compilation. Do we have some way to that to be faster here than it was on like or is on Mina, for example? Because a lot of it can just be a challenge a lot of the time. I so Bandita on partnerships, like this is like I would say quite early. We are just at the moment working on like getting the core thing working really well. Um, Definitely something we will be doing though as we get closer to having kind of the basic stuff set up, um, on the network. But yeah, we basically just want to get the core tech working really well first. I think it's also interesting on the partnership side because like we're definitely doing something more kind of grassroots in a way. I don't think that excludes us from doing partnerships with companies and stuff. That's definitely still something we want to do, but we'll see also exactly what we build and stuff. But basically, yes, so we will be pursuing that kind of thing. Yeah. How about the name? Still user node. Still user node for now. I will say we have a candidate set of names that we are just doing a legal check on at the moment. So we got candidate names. Now we check with legal if we're good to go on all of them or any of them. We think we will be, but that's an important check. And then yeah, we'll be choosing a name that's not just user node and like more of a proper network protocol name Uh, so yeah. We're looking forward to that. Uh, yeah. So new name. Yeah. um, pretty soon, hopefully. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah. Contest for name. Yeah, we were actually talking about whether we should like. It's tricky though because like the moment you share candidate names, people can like start registering domains and stuff, and we want to be able to ensure that we are able to get the handles and names and everything for everything we want to do. Um, so we can't, but yeah, we talked about it. Um, yeah, user node. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on it too. Like I feel like if we want something more mass market, it's probably good to to do something, but like yeah, yeah. So I think like at some point we are thinking to be more flexible in where you can run nodes, particularly for iOS users. Like it's probably just not gonna ever be like close to 100% in the background, unfortunately. So we are thinking towards like kind of delegated node operation where you can have your mobile app and you delegate it to some other device. Not fully sure if we'll do that yet, but um, that's something we were thinking about. You already, I don't know if we need to open source the repo. I don't think anything is stopping us. We just want to make sure the documentation is good, but uh, we already can run nodes on PC. We just got to make that available, basically. So yes, you're definitely on PC. Some delegated mode potentially. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mona Lisa. Yeah. um, other other questions, comments, thoughts, anything? Oh, I see people typing. I'm gonna give that a second. Yeah. So this is just we have to like open source the repo and then there already is a Docker version in there basically. It's getting built. It just gets built actually with every commit too, which is nice. So yeah, yeah, and actually, yeah, like the whole DApp system is very based on like kind of Docker and like um, kind of modularizing the deploy and stuff. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were talking about kind of having like a DApp ideas kind of thing as a separate challenge at some point. But I think like Dre, I'm curious what you think about this, but like I think at least the scope makes sense to be like ideas for what to do for rewards, um, and ideas for what should activity should get you rewards, which I think is already an expansion. We could talk about expanding it more too, but like I think the idea behind the Flash Challenge was just to like get people thinking about ideas around all these new mechanisms and how they could work. So I'm flexible. Um, yeah. little, little Andrew Van, yeah. But we're going to keep running the testnet quizzes in the App Store. This is really June from February, and the app is still running in the background on Android 13 and up. Yeah, so in theory, it shouldn't be draining the phone battery. In theory, like I know for me, like I have it running on like a Pixel 9, and sometimes I don't plug it in for like even like a couple days. It's not like I'm using it heavily outside of that, but it survives, and then I have to plug it in. But it might still be draining battery on some devices. A lot of the point we're doing is like we think we can get it to a place where it's not going to drain your battery a lot, but if it is, that's something we have to fix. So basically, I think, yeah, we need to like file a bug report, look at what's happening, and put it in the queue to try to have it not drain the battery as much. So I think we have to do that. One thing to note in this as well is we've like found that like the battery like monitoring that some Android devices do overstates how much backgrounded apps are actually using battery. They kind of assume like, okay, like if it is in the background, even if it's not doing anything, we should like count that in some coarse way uh, towards battery usage. So like I would be interested like for one, like, okay, is it actually like, can you tell it's like using more battery? Is like one thing. And then two is like uh what is the actual battery monitoring thing saying? And then three is we have to like dive into actually some more observability that might tell us if there is more battery usage. But yeah, these kinds of things are super helpful. Yeah, I mean, yeah, keeping it plugged in would uh will do it and help for sure. But yeah, Bedu basically like let's talk afterwards. This kind of thing we want to figure out now while we're in early. Okay, scrolling down. Let's see. Um, circuits are in. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can Daniel there like uh it's pretty fast basically. Very very fast. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yes, in season one, it's a good question. Uh, it's a good question. There will be in general. I know we even have support, I think, at the moment for tokens on the network already, like kind of different token types. Whether that happens as part of season one or later, I'm not sure. I would ask like kind of other folks in the engineering side and the team whether they think we can do that in time for the season. But at some point, definitely yes. Uh, whether that's season one or not, I'm not sure. But you can definitely create a DApp which has some like internally tracked like token. It just won't be composable with other DApps. You'll see one of the DApps we did that already to like give you a mock token to play with to create some like artificial scarcity without you having to burn through your main tokens. But general composable tokens would be cool too. That I'm just not sure about. Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts or anything? A few. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, take your time. The Flash challenge is not like right now. Right now, it is released right now, but you have until end of day April 13th um, to to hop on the forum and share ideas and think about things and stuff. So we have a few days basically. Yeah. Yes. Actually, like not only can you compete in the next season, like we hope people do that. Like the idea is that there'll be season one, there'll be season two, and then you can keep joining for all those. And then even on mainnet, we hope that like there's good incentives, there's good, it's easy to participate, and all of that, so that people participate continuously. Yeah. So yes, can and we hope will, and uh, the network will get better and do more things over time, which should be interesting. Yeah, people drive safe if you're driving right now. You can always watch the recording later. Yeah. Um, yeah. Any other questions or thoughts or anything? Okay. I think we'll call it here then. Thank you everyone for calling in today, for listening. Uh, yeah, good to have this town hall. And feel free to ask any questions in the channels later too. I'll answer any remaining questions that come in. If your question comes in fast enough, I will still answer it. Um, any token sale in the future. Uh, so I think like it's something we haven't decided yet. We want the main distribution mechanism to be to like people that are participating and adding a lot of value, but it doesn't preclude doing a token sale or other kind of token things like that as well. We're thinking about it. No answer right now, definitively. The answer to when will the test answer is that what we will try to do is make it so your phone has less and less load on it, so that it can keep running this app, and when we get to mainnet, keep running tokens. So hopefully we make it easier on your phone over time, rather than stop running the app. That's the goal. When will that happen? Probably in the next couple months, or as time goes on. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before I attempt to close again? Let's see. Yeah, I'll let final people type any comments. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see when launch happens. Again, it's like something that's like we have to talk more about as a team, but also is kind of up to us as a community. Like, how much do we want to? What's like kind of the right like balance of growth before launch versus growth after launch? I think one thing that's really nice is we actually do have a mechanism for growth after launch, so we can continue having incentives via the block reward mechanism after launch. So we're not like, I think some projects it becomes challenging. But like yeah, basically like we have to decide how we want to balance that, how much we want to grow pre-launch versus post-launch. I don't know whether it'll be next year. I hope it's before 2029. But I will say, like, I think we're making really good progress towards having like the base functionality done, and then on top of that, kind of our next goal will be to finish the layer 1 components. But we've been moving at a pretty fast rate. So we'll see over the next few months, but I think we're making good progress to even this year be pretty close to something that, from at least a base technical perspective, could potentially go to mainnet. But we shall see. Depends on a lot more work we have to do, and yeah, things we have to get done. So yeah, we'll see. I will say this year probably is aggressive, even if we have all the technology ready. But like, Well, that's like all, we'll keep in touch as like the roadmap goes on, as we make more progress, as the layer one gets kind of fleshed out, and is made complete. Yeah. But yeah, okay. We can keep talking more in the, all the general channels and everything. But I think I'll close it here. Thanks everyone for all the questions, all the engagement, for listening in. And yeah, like we'll talk more later. And yeah, keep testing stuff, telling us what doesn't work, what works well, and we'll keep improving the network and making it better. So yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone.